Observe this physical structure. Under enough downward and visible pressure, even the most rigid stone eventually begins to fracture. Our internal world follows a similar law of physics. We recognize the weight: an exhausted mind, a heart that feels physically heavy, and a spirit that has run out of the will to fight back. Usually, we respond by pulling inward. We operate under the assumption that the human mind was designed to carry the full weight of existence and every hidden anxiety in total isolation. This diagram reveals the flaw in that logic. In a closed-loop system, if you try to counter a massive external weight using only your own depleting internal energy, the math leads to a single outcome. Relying on your own finite strength against a world of infinite pressure guarantees a collapse. Yet, right at the point of failure, we often see an anomaly. People who are completely broken suddenly find a capacity for courage that their own biology shouldn't be able to provide. This suggests that true resilience isn't something we manufacture. When the internal tank is empty, endurance must be pulled from an external source. Accessing that source involves a great exchange. It is a shift in spiritual logic. To gain access to a higher power, you must first stop relying on your own. Our instinct is to shield our flaws, but this process requires us to stop hiding. It is the deliberate decision to expose our vulnerabilities and let go of the grip we've maintained on our own lives. This means taking our fears, our rigid boundaries, and our human limitations, and consciously placing them under the authority of a higher power. Notice the mechanics in this diagram. Dissolving the rigid barrier of self-reliance creates a void, allowing a dynamic wave of external strength to flood and stabilize the system. This incoming wave systematically overwrites erratic nodes of anxiety, replacing mental chaos with steady, objective truth. This is a calculated, strategic transfer of control. You are choosing to move your life's weight onto a foundation that is built to sustain it. The source of this strength is a creator with an intimate map of your internal life, every breath, every unspoken thought, and the exact shape of your fears. We are talking about a provider capable of maintaining the architecture of the universe while simultaneously managing the microscopic details of a single human experience. This includes the practicalities of life, your family's needs, your financial standing, and your emotional thirst. Because the source is infinite, it treats these external requirements with the same precision it uses to sustain your spirit. This timeline graph illustrates why this works. The source is unconstrained by time. This central node exists in your present moment, but as the loop shows, it is already present at a distant point in your future. If the provider is already standing in your tomorrow, the biological need to fear what is coming next loses its primary function. When you connect to a source that exists outside of time and possesses infinite abundance, the sensation of lack is revealed as a misunderstanding of the architecture you are now part of. You are no longer navigating the fog alone. You are breaking into a state where you are actively accompanied and defended by that source. This results in a measurable shift in your capacity for endurance. You begin to operate with the stamina of an eagle, running through life's challenges without the usual fatigue, and walking through long periods of pressure without collapsing. Your mind moves to a new baseline. Instead of a spirit that fractures under stress, you develop a fortified internal state and a peace that remains steady even when external circumstances are chaotic. Because the source is managing your practical needs, as we discussed, you see the outcomes in your daily life. The cycles of scarcity that once defined your family begin to fade, and resources align to meet your requirements in ways you couldn't have engineered yourself. You move past the struggle for survival and into a state of abundance. You find yourself with a surplus of energy and resources, allowing you to become a provider for others. You are now living under a consistent shield. It acts as a guard against both the visible obstacles in your path and the invisible threats you aren't yet aware of. The trade is complete. You have exchanged your own finite, fragile strength for a resilience rooted in an unchanging source. Your soul is safe and finally at rest.